It's a beautiful morning here in Paraguay, at least as of this recording. By the time you listen to this, I will not be in Paraguay. I will probably be in Panama or maybe Dubai again. Depends on when this podcast goes up. But anyway, whatever. This is Caleb Jones, and this is the Alpha Male 2.0 podcast. And there has been a recurring discussion in my content among the people who read my content about women cheating on men. And recently there was a discussion in our Alpha Male 2.0 Facebook group. That is our public, non-paywall Facebook group. We got about 7,000 guys in there, so there's lots of conversations in there. And if you want to join that group, it's free. If you go to Linktree/Caleb Jones, and Linktree has a period after the R, so LINKTR.EE/Caleb Jones. There's a bunch of links there, and one of those links is to the Facebook group. But anyway, I had a post in there, and I mentioned one sentence in the post, and I've said this many times before, that statistically speaking, your woman, the woman or women, the woman that you're with, if you're in a monogamous relationship, which you should not do as an Alpha Male 2.0, but if you are in a monogamous relationship, the odds are higher that you will cheat than she will. And I've said this many times. I've been very consistent about this. There's a lot of data around this. And yet, a lot of guys disagree with that. A lot of guys are confused. One guy in that group, for example, said, hey, wait a minute, I'm married, monogamous marriage, and I know a lot of married guys, and dude, almost all their wives are cheating on them. So I don't know why Caleb says that. I'll have another guy who said a while back, not in that group, but on the blog, I believe, he said, that doesn't make sense. I've been married twice, and both times my wife cheated on me and I never cheated on her. So that doesn't make any sense. Plus, guys will point out that I have said, and I have said this, and I'll double down on this right now, if you have a married couple, and a traditional monogamous married couple, not OLTR marriage like I have, but if you have a traditional married couple who's been married for a while, and one of those two people are cheating, odds are it's going to be the woman, not the guy. Yes, that's true. But Caleb, what do you mean? You're saying women cheat more, or it's more statistically likely that you will cheat than the woman, so what the hell? This doesn't make any sense. So let me explain it all right now. It's actually very simple once you remember one simple sentence. And once you understand this sentence, all of these statements I have made and all of these arguments and discussions suddenly make sense. And before I give you that sentence, I want to explain to you why this sentence is important and why things like this work this way. When you look at statistics, you have to provide some context to the statistic, or the statistic doesn't make any sense. Here's the easiest example. These right-wing morons who come onto my content and say, what do you mean divorce rate is 76%? What do you mean the divorce rate's gone up? Caleb, you're an idiot, man. The divorce rate's gone down. Look at this chart. It's gone down over the last 20 years. Now, who's right and who's wrong? Are those charts wrong? No, they're right. The problem is these people are quoting the per capita divorce rate. Yes, the per capita divorce rate has gone way down over the last 20 years. Do you know why? Because less people are getting married. So does it matter? Is that relevant at all to you if you're going to get married? No. Some guy who is 35 years old who has never been married, does his divorce rate matter? No. What matters, and the only thing that matters, is the divorce rate among people who actually get married. And if you look at those numbers, they have not only gone up, they have skyrocketed. That's why I've said around 76%. Your odds are at least, and this is a low number, 76% if you get married that you'll get divorced. Your odds aren't 76% of getting divorced if you're single. Stupid. So that's what these guys are doing. They're throwing out a statistic with no context. You have to provide context to certain statistics, then suddenly they make sense. So the divorce rate among people who get married has skyrocketed, but the standard divorce rate that you see quoted by most sources is either the per capita divorce rate or the number of divorces as compared to the number of marriages in a given year. Again, it has nothing to do with the odds of you getting divorced if you get into a traditional monogamous marriage right now. Nothing to do with it. Okay, so in terms of this, who cheats more, men or women, there's one simple sentence you need to learn, and once you understand this sentence, and I will explain this sentence, all of these statistics and all these arguments and all these things about whether or not women cheat more or guys cheat more or whatever suddenly make sense. And the sentence is this: men and women cheat about equally, but men cheat sooner. So let me explain how this works. So as I've discussed many times, the worst time to bring a woman back, bring back an ex-FB, ex-MLTR, ex-girlfriend, or what have you, what is the worst time to go after her to bring her back into your life? The worst time is when she suddenly gets a new boyfriend. She just got a new boyfriend. And I tell guys, if you see on her social media that she's happy and excited about some brand new boyfriend, not a boyfriend, a new boyfriend, then you should not contact her. And matter of fact, if you do contact her while she has this new boyfriend, you actually reduce the odds of you ever seeing her ever again. Why is that? Because the one time that women are very sexually loyal, the one time that women are actually monogamous, is when the relationship is new. As I've discussed many times before at my blogs, men's biological sexual default is polygamy, not polyamory, polygamy, meaning I can fuck these 3 or 4 girls, but these 3 or 4 girls cannot fuck other men. That's what men desire in their heart, right? As I just said that, you kind of said, ooh, that's a good idea. That sounds good to me. Right, because you're a guy. That's how you're biologically wired, right? Is that how women are wired? No. Women's default sexual operating system is serial monogamy. So that doesn't mean long-term monogamy. That doesn't mean marriage. That means serial monogamy. That means I'm going to fuck this one guy for a while, and then I'm going to get bored or irritated. Then I'm going to fuck another guy. Then I'll fuck just him for a while. Then I'll get bored or irritated, and then I'll fuck another guy, and just keep doing that for the rest of my life as long as she can, based on her looks and her SMV and various other factors. So this means that when a woman is truly monogamous is when the relationship is new. It's very hard for most women, and there are exceptions to every rule. As I say, there's exceptions to every rule whenever you talk about human beings. So I'm sure you can think of someone or some woman who didn't do this, but that's the exception. The exception proves the rule. The time where women are truly monogamous and don't cheat and don't fuck other guys is when the relationship is brand new, when the boyfriend is brand new, or in case of marriage, when the marriage is less than 3 years. Less than 3 years, women are uncomfortable fucking other guys. That's just how they're wired. Now, is that how men are wired? No. If you're a cheater, you'll cheat at any time. There's been men who have cheated on their honeymoons, literally. There have been men who, they get married, they go to Cabo or, or Hawaii or whatever on the honeymoon for a week, and they bang other chicks there. So men do not need to wait at all to cheat or fuck other women. Generally speaking, yes, again, there are exceptions. We don't have this delimiter in our brains like women do that says, well, the relationship is new, I'm super excited, I'm super pumped, therefore I'm not gonna fuck other girls. So if I have this new girlfriend and an ex-girlfriend who I think is really hot calls me up and says, hey, come on over and fuck me, I'm gonna say no, because that's not appropriate. You might say that, but you might also say, all right, girl, sure. And you'll go fuck her because you're not a girl. So men and women, as usual, are wired differently for these things. This means that when cheating occurs in a new relationship, it is overwhelmingly going to be the man. Again, there are exceptions to every rule, but generally speaking, if you have a new relationship, as in a few months or a year, or a new marriage, as in less than 3 years, if someone is cheating, it's probably going to be the dude. Yes, that is true. So that's why I say, when you're out in the dating world, if you're dating FBs, MLTRs, girlfriends you don't live with, things like that, yes, statistically speaking, you are going to cheat more than she will cheat. Now, she still could cheat. She could cheat if the relationship is new or newer. She could be an exception, but we're talking about statistically here. So yes, if you were to do a study on the number of people who cheat and you just looked at relationships that were under 3 years or under a year, you would overwhelmingly show, if you could somehow prove this, and cheating is difficult to prove because you got to take people's word for it, blah, 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 blah. But you would show, if you could somehow get the truth out of people, that the overwhelming majority of the cheaters would be dudes. Yes, because women tend to wait until they cheat. Now let's talk about another angle for this. In most relationship, who is the one who is leaving? Do men leave women or do women leave men? Obviously, you should know by now, women leave men. 70 to 80% of divorces are filed by the female. They're initiated by the woman. 85% of all girlfriend-boyfriend relationships are terminated by the woman. Women statistically leave men. Are there exceptions? Yes, of course. Matter of fact, during my first marriage, I left her, but I was a statistical exception. That is not the norm. Men get one-itis. Men are betas. Men don't like to leave women. Men like to cheat. They like to cheat, but they stay. Now, women are the opposite. Women leave all the fucking time. So remember that. Also remember that most relationships don't last, right? The vast majority of the relationships you're going to have with women are going to end. I don't care if it's FB, I don't care if it's OLTR, I don't care if it's MLTR, I don't care if it's a girlfriend, I don't care if it's a wife you marry with kids. The vast majority of all those relationships are going to end someday, and likely statistically, the woman's going to leave you. Right? Right. This is just statistical. And if this wasn't true, most people on Earth of all ages, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, would still be married to their high school sweethearts who they fucked when they were 17 years old. Is that true outside of certain places in Asia? No, that's not true. The opposite is true, right? Right. Now, do most of these relationships that end, do they last a long time? Do most relationships last 13 years and then they end? No. Some last 6 months, a year, year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, somewhere around there, right? So most relationships are terminated by the woman and most relationships end very quickly. This means that most relationships end before the woman gets around to cheating. So again, men and women cheat the same, generally speaking, but women take longer. So if you arbitrarily say that most women won't cheat after 3 years, I'm not saying that. That is not statistical. I'm just giving you an example here. Let's say they cheat after 3 years. That's when women start cheating. If most relationships don't last 3 years, and they don't, then obviously that's going to skew the numbers way high for men cheating, right? Women, generally speaking, there are exceptions, leave men before they get around, quote unquote, to cheating. It's how it works. Matter of fact, I've been on forums discussing this with women in the past. I will see a woman who goes on a forum, I've seen this many times, or a Facebook group or what have you, and she'll say, well, I've never cheated before. I've never cheated in my entire life. I've had boyfriends, I've never cheated. And I will say to this woman, it's happened more than once, I'll say to this woman, you're in your 20s. You've never had a relationship that lasted longer than 3 years. Have you? And she'll go, what does that have to do with it? I'm like, that has everything to do with it. That is the reason. Go have a relationship with a man that lasts 17 years. Then come back and tell me you've never cheated. Because statistically, you will. Right. So a lot of women who do serial monogamy like to toss their head around and talk, well, I'm a good person. I've never cheated. Yeah, you've never cheated because you never had a long relationship. You're proving my point. Because you can have those women. You can certainly have a lot of women who have never cheated because they've never had a relationship that lasted more than a year or 2 or 3. Sure. I know several women like this. Yes. They're just adhering to their serial monogamy model. Wait until these women get into a relationship that goes way past 3 years. 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 13 years, 22 years, 32 years. Then let's see if they never cheat. Again, monogamy doesn't work. Eventually you're going to fuck someone else, and that applies to women too, because I'll repeat the sentence. Men and women cheat about equally. They do. It's just that women take longer. Men cheat sooner. So now let's flip the script. Let's flip it now, and let's take an example of a man and a woman who date for a long time, then move in together, and then get married and are married for a long time. So let's say you have a monogamous, quote unquote monogamous in quotes, a traditional monogamous couple, and they've been married now for 13 years, okay? So here's the deal. Here's why I said if you have a long-term married couple and one of them is cheating, okay, it's more likely going to be the woman than the guy. Well, why is that? 2 reasons. Number one, if the guy has cheated, he already cheated. He already cheated a long time ago, back when the relationship was newer and when he was younger and his testosterone was higher and he wasn't as chubby and he wasn't as beta, right? If he's been married for 15 years, 25 years, as we've discussed in detail at my blogs, is this a big, strong, good-looking, high testosterone, physically fit alpha male after being monogamously married for 22 years? No, this is a chubby, recessive, pussy beta who's lost his edge. Generally speaking, yes, there are rare exceptions. You get my point. You know how this works. Long-term monogamy kills drive, kills testosterone, kills alpha male instincts in men. That's just how this works. As a matter of fact, as soon as men have babies, their testosterone drops again. I've shown you all the studies. Maybe you've seen all the studies. So yes. So is he cheating? Maybe he is, but probably he isn't. What is more likely is that the woman is now cheating. So that means that you have a marriage where the first 3 years she was loyal and she did not cheat. Even if he was cheating, she did not cheat because women don't like doing that, right? So the first 3 years, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, maybe 6 years or something like that, she was faithful and she didn't cheat. But then we get into the 7-year mark, certainly past the 3-year mark, as I've talked about in live-in relationships. The 3-year mark is a danger zone. The 7-year mark is a second danger zone. When you get well past those 2 danger zones in the 7-year mark, if she finds herself in a scenario where she doesn't want to get divorced, which is unusual because most women will just divorce a guy, but if she's in that scenario where she relies on the man's money too much, or she has kids and she doesn't want to divorce him and quote unquote ruin her kids, or maybe she's religious and doesn't want to piss off her mother, or whatever reason she has for not divorcing the guy, then she will take the next best option because long-term monogamy doesn't work, and she will cheat. She will fuck someone else. Now, unlike him, she doesn't have a level of testosterone that matters because she's a girl. So she doesn't lose this sexual edge as she ages. Certainly she loses her looks as she ages. That's certainly true. She'll get older. She might get chubbier. Fine. But as we've talked about many times, women can get laid regardless of how they look. Ugly fat girls can get a guy whenever they want. The quality is down, but women don't have any trouble getting laid even if they're not good looking. So does she have any trouble finding a guy to fuck? No. No woman has trouble finding a guy to fuck unless they don't want to drop their standards. This is the issue with women in their 30s who are single in the dating zone, is they raise their standards too high. But a married woman who wants to cheat has, the pick of the litter. She can do kind of whatever she wants. She can fuck, whoever she wants in terms of certainly guys at work, in the workplace, guys in her social circle, which is what married women do, by the way. Married women, with exceptions, don't go on dating sites or sugar daddy sites and try to find some random guy. When married women cheat, they cheat with men they know. Men in their social circle, God forbid sometimes men in their family, men in their neighborhood, and certainly the biggest one is men at work. When they go to work, the men they work with. That's where married women cheat. And so yes, statistically speaking, and of course there are lots of exceptions to this, if you have a long-term married couple, you're going to have a quote-unquote normal woman married to a beta male. Maybe an ex-alpha male, but today he's a beta. So who's more likely to be the one who's cheating? She is. So yes, I have seen many long-term quote-unquote monogamous marriages where the woman is cheating and the guy isn't. Now, when I say the guy isn't, that doesn't mean the guy never has. That's the other factor that people forget. Just because he isn't cheating now after 21 years of marriage doesn't mean he didn't cheat 10 years ago or 15 years ago when the marriage was newer and when he was more thin, physically fit, had higher testosterone, felt better about himself, was still unaccustomed to being married in terms of the married lifestyle, was still fucking his ex-girlfriend or what have you. So that's the other factor. If I say that if you have a long-term married couple and one of them is cheating, the woman is more likely to be cheating than the man, I am not saying the man has never cheated. I'm not saying that. I'm saying currently at the moment, the man isn't cheating anymore, but the woman probably is. And that's true. If you bring to me a married couple and they've been married for 22 years and you know for a fact one of them is cheating, I will always bet my money on the woman being the one who's cheating right now. Now, if you ask me, have they ever cheated? That's a different question. I'm talking about who is cheating now. Right, because again, men and women cheat about equally, just that women take longer. Men cheat sooner. Now, let me throw one little wrinkle into this. One little wrinkle that is new in the past 6 years or so with the advent of sugar daddy game. We are getting into the point now where it is getting easier and easier for married beta males to get laid via sugar daddy game. And I've seen a lot of this on the internet over the past 6 years or so since sugar daddy game really came online around 2015. So you will see in a lot of these like dead bedroom Reddit groups where, these married guys are talking about how they're not getting laid in their marriages because traditional monogamous marriage sucks and they're idiots. A lot of these guys will say, you know what, fuck it. I just went on Seek an Arrangement, whipped out a few $100 and now I have a sugar baby I see once a week. Yeah. So beta males, as long as they don't really fuck up, and a lot of them do, can get laid more quickly now. And so now it is actually, for the first time ever, it is actually easier for a mid to high income married beta male to get laid. And this is new in our society, just the last 6 years. Prior to that, if you were a married beta male, you were kind of fucked. You were pretty hard to get laid. They still did. Some married beta males still cheat. And by the way, I want to be clear about this. Beta males still cheat. That's another question I get. Some guys will say, well, alpha males cheat, but beta males don't. Wrong, 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 wrong. Beta males are still males. Beta males are still men. So beta males cheat. Now, when they cheat, the quality of the woman they get is much lower than the alpha male. That's true. The beta male will just fuck, the fat 43-year-old, woman who works in inventory control in his office. He'll get whatever he can take, but he'll still do it because he's a guy, and long-term monogamy doesn't work. But my point here is that it is now easier for middle to high income beta males to cheat because of the advent of sugar daddy games. So maybe over time, this thing about if you have a married couple, it's most likely the woman who's cheating, that might skew away, and maybe it'll be both of them. At some point, maybe statistically speaking, it'll be either one of them or both of them are cheating. You know, the married beta male has been married 17 years, is farting around on sugar daddy sites, whipping out cash to, you know, bang 22-year-olds. And the wife, the dominant wife, is fucking the good-looking husband down the street, right? So, you know, this may change over time. But if you just remember that basic sentence, men and women cheat equally, about equally, but men cheat sooner, all of a sudden it explains all of this stuff. It explains why the numbers are skewed much higher for men, because most relationships tend not to last very long. So what's the solution to all this? It's a very simple solution. If you're Alpha Male 2.0, you already know what the solution is, and hopefully you're already practicing it. Don't ever get monogamous. Don't promise monogamy and don't expect monogamy. That's what non-monogamy means. You don't promise monogamy. Number one, you never tell a woman, I'm only gonna fuck you. You never ever say that. I have not made that promise in 15 years since my first marriage, and I never will, ever, ever, never, ever, ever, never. Now I'll make promises around that. I could make promises to only have sex with certain particular individual women on the side instead of just every woman. I can make promises about how infrequent or frequently I do it. I can make promises around the details, but I will never promise to only have sex with one woman, and I say that as a married man. I am well past the 3-year mark. I'm 3.5 years into my marriage, and everything's going fucking great because it's not monogamous. So that's step one. Step two is you don't expect monogamy. Women cheat if the relationship lasts long enough. Now, if she's going to dump you in a year, she might be loyal for that year, and then you'll cry for a year because she's dumped you. That is possible. But if you want a long-term relationship with a special someone, the odds are over-fucking-whelming that she's going to eventually get sexual with another man, because human beings don't like long-term monogamy, and the last time I checked, women are human beings. So yes, she will cheat on your dumbass eventually. So just don't expect it. Don't expect her to never get sexual with another guy. It takes all the pressure off. Now, do you have to like that? Do you have to like that maybe she might hook up with another guy at some point? No, I didn't say you have to like it. I didn't say you won't be jealous. I'm saying it's a less bad system than constantly worrying about whether or not she's gonna fuck another guy and constantly checking up on her and constantly getting pissed off about this like beta males and alpha male 1.0s do. Stupid. Alpha male 2.0 is about long-term consistent happiness. And that is not possible if you're constantly checking up on your girlfriend or your wife to make sure she's not fucking other guys or talking to other guys or flirting with other guys. Let me see your phone. Where were you the other day? This is not a path to happiness. This is a path to anger and arguments and drama. Now, if you're an alpha male 1.0, some of those guys like anger and drama. Great, have fun. You're not part of my target audience. But if you're not, if you don't like that, you're gonna have to just let that shit go. I didn't say you have to like it. I said you have to let that shit go. My wife is allowed to fuck other men. Now, does she fuck other men? Not really. No, that's not something she's into. She's 41. Do you think a 41-year-old woman's gonna be on Tinder looking for dudes to fuck? No. She has no interest in that. But she's allowed to. If she wants, she's allowed to. Will I love it if she does that? No, but I'm cool with it because I know that monogamy doesn't work and I never have to worry about cheating ever. My wife doesn't have to worry about cheating. I don't have to worry about cheating. All my other women, my FBs, they don't have to worry about cheating. It's fucking great. Or at least it's less bad than monogamy, where cheating is always a concern. And if, not when, but if you get caught cheating or you catch her cheating, now you have a nuclear atom bomb that goes off into your relationship or your marriage, and now you have to suffer and scream and yell and cry and be furious and hurt. If you're married, you got to go to fucking marriage counseling, and if you've done it more than once, then people get expected to check into like sex addiction rehab or some bullshit like that. God damn. No, 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 it's not worth it. Cheating is not an issue for the alpha male 1.0 because we're not monogamous. By the way, true statement for my life, and this is true, I have never cheated in my entire life. Never. I have never. Now, the reason for that is not because I'm this great moral, self-controlled guy. It's because I don't get monogamous. I don't promise monogamy. So I can't cheat. It's not possible for me to cheat on anybody. Every woman I have ever dated in the last 15 years, that's been a lot of women, I've said, I'm gonna fuck other girls at least occasionally. If you don't like it, go date someone else, because I'm gonna fucking do this. And I believe in honesty. I'm not gonna lie to you about this like every other man you're going to date. Just about. Well, Caleb, you were monogamous once. Right, I was monogamous in my first marriage many years ago as a young man for 9 years, and I did not cheat. I didn't, it's true. But here's the deal, I wanted to. I wanted to really, really, really bad. I suffered in that marriage for 9 years because I wasn't having sex often enough with my wife, because she would say no too often, which is standard in a monogamous marriage that's more than 3 years old. We haven't even discussed that topic yet. That's why a lot of men cheat in marriages. But anyway, so I wasn't getting enough sex, but I felt bad about cheating. I felt bad about going back on my word. But boy, were there scenarios where not only did I want to, but I could have. There were a few women in my work life where if I had done certain things, I could have gotten laid, and I chose not to, but I hated not doing that. I spent most of those 9 years gritting my teeth and balling my fists because I was horny and there was nothing I could do about it, walking around with blue balls. Again, that is not happiness, and that's why when that marriage ended, thank God, I said, okay, clearly monogamy is gonna work for me. This is not gonna work for me long term. This cannot make me happy long term. I'm gonna have to find some different models. And that's why I came up with the other models that we talk about here in Alpha Male 2.0. So if cheating is a concern for you, I have a very simple solution. Convert to Alpha Male 2.0. You'll never have to worry about cheating ever again. You might still be jealous, but jealousy and worrying about cheating are two different things, two radically different things. You can still be a little jealous. Lots of Alpha Male 2.0s are a little jealous, but they don't have to worry about cheating. And even better, the better benefit is you never have to worry about getting caught cheating. Unlike married men who cheat, I'm married and I don't have to hide anything from my wife. I don't have to have multiple cell phones and multiple email accounts and put passwords on my computer and make sure she doesn't look at my stuff and hide my phone and always be nervous about getting caught like all these Hispanic guys do all the times in their relationships. I don't have any of those concerns and any of those worries. I'm completely transparent. Matter of fact, during this transitional period where she hasn't moved to Dubai yet, when I hook up with other women when I travel in other countries, Pink Firefly for the first time has said to me, hey, could you show me pictures of some of the women you're hooking up with? I said, sure, and I'd send her some. I sent her pictures of all the women I was hooking up with in various countries, and we she'd go, oh, okay, oh, she's pretty, oh, that's good. Yeah, it's total transparency. I don't care because I'm not cheating and I can't get caught cheating. Isn't that better or at least less bad? Yes, it is. So when I see guys worrying about cheating, they're cheating and they're scared about getting caught and are trying to figure out how to not get caught cheating, or they're worried about their girlfriend or their wife cheating, I just shake my head. It is so useless and so stupid to worry about this in the modern era where women are allowed to do whatever they want and long-term monogamy is the worst it's ever been. Stupid, stupid, stupid across the board. Get non-monogamous. You can still have a girlfriend. You can still be married. I'm married. You can do any model you want. Then you have to worry about this shit. But the bottom line is, just remember that. Men and women cheat about equally, but men cheat sooner. That explains all the confusion. Have fun. I'll see you soon. Bye.